All right, welcome back to the channel. Max Tornow here. We're sitting here in our home office. I want to talk about comfort and why I see most people fail. And this is especially important when people are getting started with their own businesses. They can never take off with it. They can never make serious amounts of money. And most importantly, they can never do it consistently. But even with those people that make a little bit of money, you know, they're making their 5, 10K a month, and then they never grow beyond that. And oftentimes, it's not a lack of structure, even though that's a very important part as well. But it's also just the people are too comfortable. People are too comfortable. They don't appreciate what they have, and they therefore never keep pushing. So if you like the idea of growing, of legitimately growing, of becoming better at something, of becoming not only someone who has everything for themselves, but who also becomes a cornerstone as support for people that they love, for family, for future family, for spouses, for friends. And this video is for you because I feel like if we all grow beyond ourselves and we accept the challenge of that, we can do a lot of good in this world. I truly, truly believe so. Yet, most of us are too comfortable, and therefore they wallow in their own arrogance, and they might have a regularly okay life for themselves, but that's not what you're supposed to do. I think that's childish. I think that's arrogant. If you're sitting here saying, I'm doing fine for myself, then you have a problem. The problem is that you sincerely possess the arrogance to think that doing fine for yourself is a goal or is something you should even be proud of yourself. Every idiot can do fine for themselves. Every homeless person sitting in their own, in their own urine is doing fine for themselves as per their own definition. That's not the point. That's not how we grow as humanity, as a collective. We grow when people are in society saying, hey, you know what? I'm doing fine for myself, but I want to do even better. I want to do so well that I could do something for the benefit of the greater good. Not even that. I want to do so well that I can also do well for my parents who are getting older every single day. I want to be able to take care of my loved ones. I want to be doing so well that my children have everything they need, all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the education, but also all the experience from me, from a person who's been growing and pushing for decades, and not from a person who's doing just fine for themselves. I mean, what the f*** is this? And I see this problem so many times. People literally say, I'm doing fine for myself, I'm doing well. So, excuse me, I'm sorry, when did we say that that's the goal, doing fine for yourself? And I've talked about this before. There's kind of like 3 layers of responsibility. The first layer, which is already something that most people will never reach, is you're in control of your own life. You're responsible of your own life, right? And this starts with simple things like keeping your goddamn room clean, but it goes all the way up to fulfilling your potential physically, mentally, metaphorically speaking, in the job world. This is the first level of responsibility, of fulfilling your potential, of having goals, high goals that you then achieve. All right, and this starts with very, very, very basic things, such as keep your room clean, show up on time, don't lie, or at least keep lying to a minimum. I understand that there's these like white lies, when somebody says good morning, they don't actually wish something a good morning. I get it, but be an overall truthful and honest person. That's like the baseline. And then grow from there. Set yourself goals, whichever those goals are. And don't you ever think that, oh, I'm just going to take a simple goal for myself because then I win. I get the win. I get the checkbox. And therefore, I'll reach all my goals. No, that shouldn't be the goal. The goal should be so high, it intimidates you. The goal should be so f***ing big that you're scared of it. And if I think back at my life, that's literally all I've ever done. I told myself, you know what, let me set a goal that is so high that it's so unreal to be living that for me. that if I ever get there, I will not even believe it. And that was my goal with my very first business. I literally couldn't believe it. I literally couldn't believe it. I wanted to become an online coach, or basically before that, I wanted to become an offline coach. I wanted to be able to travel the world for dating advice. It was a dream of mine. And when I did it, when I started touring, when I started making my first money, it literally took me, I think, 3 or 4 months until I even told my parents. My parents were aware of that dream. My parents were supporting me. My parents were rooting for me. But once I made it, once I was on my first tour and all the dates were confirmed and the flights were booked, I couldn't tell them because it was too unreal for me. And that's the goal that you should have. And then, once I've reached all the goals that I've had it was crazy. Even back then, my goals were all, let me become first a dating coach. And then, okay, let me go on my first world tour. And then my goals were, let me become the best. Let me be the one that has the biggest brand and makes the most money and serves the most people. And I've reached every single goal of that, regardless of how crazy and absolutely out there it seemed. That's what you should be doing with your goals. That's layer 1. And then later on, I said, okay, I've done all of that. Let me do it again. Completely ridiculous, stupid goal. Let's do all that from scratch. Let's scratch everything, finish that, completely change your niche, start pivoting over into a completely different realm, going from coaching for dating and relationships and kind of personal development to business consulting. And hell yeah, I did it again. And hell yeah, I'm literally making more than I've made before and banking again multiple 7 figures a year. And that's a beautiful thing. Doing that again, crazy, stupid goal, but that's how I thrive, and that's how you should thrive. Don't go for the low-hanging fruit. That's layer 1. You take responsibility over yourself. Once you've mastered that, it's time for layer 2. And you know what I used to say? Oh, that's not obligatory. You don't have to do layer 2. Yes, you should. I changed my mind. You absolutely should achieve level 2. And level 2 is you're not only taking care of yourself, but you're taking care of your immediate environment. Your family, right? Maybe a family that you founded with your partner, right? And your children or your future children. But also the family that has been there, that has brought you up. Whether that's your real parents or some foster parents or whoever. This includes also mentors. Right? It could be also grandparents, your family that has brought you up, siblings. You want to be there for them because it's cool if you're doing well for yourself, but what happens if they get sick? Maybe they're doing well for themselves as well. What happens if they get sick and they're no longer able or capable of doing well for themselves? Do you want to tell the government to give them some money to bail them out? Do you want to tell your insurance, oh, hopefully the insurance covers that when mommy gets cancer? What if the insurance doesn't? You want to blame the system? You want to blame the government? Blame yourself, goddammit, because you've been okay with doing well for yourself. And imagine where would come as a collective. Where will we come? What will we reach if everybody grows beyond themselves so they can start giving back? And that's then level 3, stage 3. Is where you not only be able to take care of yourself, not only are you able to take care of your immediate environment, you're able to take care of a larger environment of people in your city, of people in your country, of people in this world. Even if it's a goddamn tiny piece. Maybe you buy a piece of land and you make a forest there to help the CO2 output, right? Maybe you're donating, I don't know, whichever it is, but you want to be doing so. Imagine where the world could be if everybody's doing so goddamn well because they started with personal development, they started with working on themselves, they started having goals, high goals for themselves, they achieved those goals, they start giving back to their immediate environment, and they're doing so well, they're thriving, they're pulling other people up so they're empowered, so they're taking action. And now everybody's giving back to everybody else. Imagine how beautiful that would be. And of course it's a utopian, oh Max, you silly naive little boy. Yes. You know what? I believe it's possible. And that's a big reason why I'm still doing what I'm doing. Some people ask me like, Max, if you're making so much money, why are you still doing that? If I did it for the goddamn money, I would have stopped a very, very long time ago. But I'm not doing it for my money. I truly, deeply down in myself, I believe that my mission is because I have fulfilled everything for myself. I've done almost everything I want. I've traveled to almost all the places I've ever wanted to go. Maybe Japan, maybe Africa, I can add those things, but all the sick places I really wanted to visit right away, I've done. I'm 30 years old, done all that. I'm making more money than I've ever thought. I literally would have thought like if I make $1 million, I'm happy. I never have to work again. I've made much more than that, and I'm fine, and I've done all the cool things, and I've bought the cool things, and I've driven the nice cars, and so on and so forth. I'm living in a cool place. And I believe that my mission is now to take care of my immediate environment, which is why I love going on trips with my dad, because my dad couldn't do that because he was busy trying to support his goddamn family. He was working day in, day out. I want to give back to my mom and give her nice vacations because she brought us up after my parents got divorced. I want to be able to be there for my brother, and I want to be there for my sister and her family and my brother's family. I want to be there for all of them. And that's why I'm still doing that, because I'm giving back to my immediate environment, and on top of that, I want to give back to my extended environment, my clients. Do you know how empowering the feeling is of you empowering someone else? Do you know how amazing that is when a client comes to me and said, hey, I made my first close, I cracked my first 10K, I was able to quit my job, I'm making much more money than ever before. I want to be part of that. And maybe that's arrogance, maybe that's naivety, maybe that's just like my own ego being brushed up through that. I am the one who makes other people free. At the end of the day, who cares? If you're doing good, you're doing good. I don't even care if you're doing it for arrogant ego reasons or because you're pure of heart and you're a saint. It doesn't matter. You should be doing something good. And if you're doing well for yourself and therefore you're stopping, you're a fucking coward, because you should keep pushing. And that brings me to the next point. You have to appreciate what you have, God damn it. If you say I'm doing well for myself, you're not appreciating that. If you're thinking small, you're not appreciating that. If you think, oh, it's not about money, you're not appreciating that. That's the truth. Because if you would appreciate that, you would keep pushing. Do you know how shitty it is when you have a friend who has cancer? Or a family member that has cancer? Have you ever seen what cancer does to a human life? It takes it out. It literally ends someone's life, and depending on the type of cancer, there's nothing you can do. You can watch that person literally die over the course of a couple months, and that person from one day to the other, at some point they're going to die. And cancer is something that everybody can get. Of course, there's genetic preconditions to that, but one day you can wake up with a headache. Maybe one day you're just extremely tired, and then this goes on, the next day you're still tired, a couple of weeks later you're still tired, you go to the hospital and they say, yeah, you have leukemia. We have to start treatment soon. This can happen to anybody at any time. But if that happens, you probably look back and you wish you would have pushed harder. You wish you would have done something for your life, for your parents. Maybe you thought, oh, I still have time. Oh, I still have time. The time's not perfect. Time's not right now. Yeah, maybe it isn't. It never is. Guess what? You have to appreciate what you have. And I believe if you just accept your situation because it's good enough, you're disrespecting what you have. You should keep fighting because you never know what's going to happen. I could have also said, you know what, I'm fine. Back in the days when I studied at university, the University of Vienna, the state paid my apartment. That's what you do when you live in Austria. State pays for my studies. I was just fine for myself. But I didn't want to do that because I'm like, isn't it disrespectful if I just accept all these things given to me and doing well for myself? No, you have to keep pushing, goddammit. Same goes for going on vacation. There's people going on vacation. There's people playing video games, smoking weed. They're basically making a couple thousand a month for their job. And then they go on vacation. It's totally fine to go on vacation if you're happy. But then there's people who have goals who say, one day I want to build this, one day I want to have my own business. Yet they go on vacation. So if you really want to do that, why the hell do you go on vacation? Stop going on vacation until you reach your goal. It's a very simple dynamic that I try to live by. I never do nice things for myself. I make myself deserve them. If I go on vacation after I reached XYZ milestone, after I recorded XYZ program, after I've helped XYZ clients to crack the 10K, 30K, 50K. I don't just go on vacation. If you would just go on vacation, I believe it's taking things for granted, and you shouldn't take things for granted. You should work on things, and you should push and deserve these things. Same go, but Max, you're playing video games. Yeah, I'm playing video games maybe once a week after I've absolutely crushed this week. I'm not playing video games to escape. I'm not playing video games to cope with things. I'm playing video games because I need a break after working on my dreams, and not because I need a break because I feel so weak. No, 95% of the people don't even know what it really means to push. They've never seen themselves go beyond their limits. They've never experienced their limits. Why would you? You're hungry, you go to the grocery store, you buy your steak. You don't even have to go to the grocery store. You order it from your phone. Someone else brings it to you. You want to be entertained. You go on the YouTube. It's right there. You don't even have to go on YouTube anymore. You go on TikTok. And you have just a 15 seconds interval. Your dopamine is just being spiked. You're cold. You turn the goddamn heater on, and it heats things up for you. What you have to understand is the human mind is literally built to endure hardship. The human mind, like our brain, is exactly the same that it was 5,000 years ago when our caveman ancestors were surviving out there in the wilderness, hunting and gathering. That's what your spirit, your mind, your body is built for. Genetically, we're exactly the same as these ancestors thousands of years ago. What do we use our bodies and our mind for? To get up from the bed and to sit down in the metro or in the Uber. What do we use our mind for? To scroll through the Instagram. Double tap to like. DMs. Our brains are meant to do something better. Our brains are meant to endure hardship like crazy. We're machines equipped for survival, for thriving, for thinking, for finding solutions to problems, for fasting, for going extremely long distances with our bodies. We're built to withstand physical, emotional pressure. Logic. We've come up with this concept of logic, of finding opportunities where there are none. We're creating opportunities. What do we use our minds for? What do 99% of people use their minds for? Go outside, go into a bus. What do people do? Instagram, swipe, scroll. So what happens is our minds are supposed to thrive under evolutionary pressure. This is a really important point. Please pay attention. Our minds are designed to withstand and thrive under very strong evolutionary pressure. The question is, where is that evolutionary pressure right now? There is none. There is no evolutionary pressure. Chances are high, if you watch this video, you live in a first world country or in a developed country that is developed enough that you can get fed if you're hungry, then you can drink when you're thirsty, that you can sleep when you're tired. There's no immediate threat you have to run away from. There's no tiger trying to eat you and your buddies. There's no mammoth trampling you. It's just you being relatively safe 24/7. So what do you have to do to make yourself thrive? You have to start putting that evolutionary pressure on yourself. How do you do that? To go full circle what I've said earlier, you have to set yourself high goals. Because if you don't set yourself high goals, there's no pressure on you, and then you're doing just fine for yourself. Do you understand that? Your body, your mind, your spirit are built to thrive under pressure. There is no evolution that gives you pressure. You have to give yourself that pressure. How do you give yourself that pressure? How do you give yourself that pressure? By having extremely high goals that make you freak out, that make you scared, that intimidate you. And then you go and work on these goals. And you do not stop until you've reached that goal. Because once you've reached that goal, that's where the real journey starts. That's where the real work starts. Because now you're actually doing very well for yourself, but you're doing so well for yourself that you can give back to your immediate environment. Stage 2 of responsibility. Your parents, your family, your spouse, your mentors, your friends. And then you keep pushing after that, because you shall never take things for granted, because things can be ripped away from you. The carpet can be pulled away from under your feet like this. There's disease, there's terror, there's corona things. There's all these black swan events out there that can hit you at any time. And if you do not prepare for that by being so well off that you can give back to yourself, that you can even contribute to society, to this world, then you're going to have a very, very bad time. All right, please understand that. I know this is a little bit of an angry rant. I didn't prepare this video like I'm preparing some other videos. If you haven't done so yet, also check out our podcast. We're going to link our podcast down below. My business partner Nikita Gunkowicz and myself, we're talking in very great detail on the structural side of things and how you can become free and how you can build your own business. I'm going to put a link down to the podcast below as well. I strongly recommend you checking that. But what you have to understand is, there's so much bad things out there in this world, and you cannot fix those. You can only counteract those by taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, and ultimately doing so well for all of you to be able to take care of at least a tiny little piece of this world. Because our time here is not infinite. Your time is not infinite. And at some point, you're going to die. And at some point, your mom's going to die, or your dad's going to die, or your loved one's going to die. And it will be these moments where all the pity feelings of self-doubt, of fear, they won't matter. They will literally lose all their significance, or what so-and-so said about you, and what so-and-so did behind your back. All these things will lose significance. All you'll think about is, how well was I able to take care of my loved ones? And I know I didn't make the rules, but money plays it. Right? Money is what it's about. If you want to take care of your parents, of your loved ones, of yourself, you got to find a way to make money. Money can give you safety, money can give you security, money can give you freedom. Money can't keep you healthy, but it sure as hell can help you with the best treatments. And it sure as hell allows you to live a relatively healthy lifestyle for your mind and for your body. You have to take over that responsibility. Please, please. Start taking over responsibility for yourself so you can start taking responsibility for your environment, your family, your friends, and then for the environment, for the extended environment. Please, please don't let that go to waste. All right, thank you very, very much for watching. If this inspires you, you want to start taking action, there's a fly flying around here. If you want to start taking action, we're going to put a link down below as well, where you can book a free consulting call with me or an expert coach from my team. If you like the idea of becoming free, of taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, then click that link down below and book a free consulting call. The link is going to bring you to a page. There's some more information. Feel free to read through that. In fact, you know what? I recommend you read through that page, because if you can't even read through a page for 10 minutes, then maybe you should work on your attention span. All right, and then at the bottom of that page, if you scroll down, there's an application. You fill that out, takes you 2 minutes, and then you can book the exact date and time where you want us to call you. And one last thing, what we're going to talk about with you on that call is not some watered down mainstream bullshit, some general advice. We're going to go hardcore with that, whether you like it or not. I've been criticized a lot that I'm too direct, that I'm very, very pushing of people that want to learn from me. Yes. Guess what? Because ultimately, I want to empower people and not sugarcoat things. So like I said, link down in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Hey FBM dudes, it happened. First close today, just 10 minutes ago. Took me 10 calls, 2,000 euros paid in full up front. Couldn't be happier. Just wanted to let you know real quick, because I've got a next call just lined up. Just a heads up. Keep at it, you're gonna do it too. Yeah, go on, GG.